Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive number 1, number 2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hi, Jamie. It's you, Jamie. Don't be alarmed, but I think there's a guy following you. Maybe we should get that guard dog we talked about? Nothing too scary. Maybe like a Bichon with an attitude? You know, Progressive's collision insurance covers injured dogs and cats at no extra cost, so... Wait, the guy stood up when I stood up. He's on the phone. He's looking right at me. Oh, wait, it's just my reflection. Don't tell anyone about this.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet coverage not available in New Hampshire and North Carolina.
Blog Talk Radio.
No, that would have been totally embarrassing if I was literally just yawning like I was 30 seconds ago before I went on air. Hi, everybody. It's the Thursday edition of Since Chat Corner. We obviously all know that I have a local musician on, as I call him, Mr. Piano Man, and or The Man, and or other names when I'm nice to him. In any case, Marcell's going to be coming on the show in just a couple of minutes. The reason why you're listening to me right now is because I have about 8,000 announcements that I have to try to squeeze in before he comes on the radio. So, first and foremost, I don't want to forget to remind everybody that I do have one more show this week, and lucky for me, it's another local, as a matter of fact, and it happens to be on our list of upcoming events for this evening, so let's talk about it real quick. I'm going to be doing an interview tomorrow with one of the founding board members of the Village Playhouse. For those of you that don't know, that don't live in Wisconsin, the Village Playhouse is one of the longest running, actually 20-plus years to be exact, theater groups in town. And so what they're doing is their annual, what they call Labor of Love fundraiser. It's going on October 15th, which is this coming Sunday. It's going on from 5 till 10 p.m., and that's going to be located at Inspiration Studios. Coincidentally, it's the same place where I had held my film event, as a matter of fact. So she's going to be coming on the air, and Judy and I are going to be talking about the event itself. We're going to be talking about the Village Playhouse. We're going to be talking about Inspiration Studios. In case any of you want background information on the Playhouse, the website is villageplayhouse.org. And, of course, obviously, Inspiration Studios can be found at inspirationstudiosgallery.com. Again, that's October 15th from 5 to 10. It's called the Labor of Love fundraiser, and it's located at Inspiration Studios in West Dallas, which is 1500 South 73rd Street in West Dallas. If you guys live here, you're already familiar with where that is. That's happening this weekend. As far as local events tonight goes, obviously, we know that I try to support my local musicians as much as possible, but sadly there's only one of me and about 75 of them. So obviously our guest tonight will be talking about his gig tonight. Second of all, to those of you that are Scotty B, a.k.a. Bad Boy fans, although it's just Scotty tonight, he has a gig tonight from 8 till 11 at the Radisson Hotel in Menominee Falls at the RBG Bar. And, of course, my dear friend Matt Haffel is actually having a gig tonight at Moles in Tosa from 8 to 11. And, of course, show some love for Phil Norby. He's going to be down at Potawatomi Casino from 8 until 11. That's the Milwaukee side of things. On the New York side of things, real quickly, there's 3 things going on. This one most important, and it's on my social media page. My dear friend MJ of Indra Publications, which is indrapr.com, her client, Dr. Edward Alvarez, just for today, as a celebration for Freedom USA Day, he's a dental. And when I say dental, I mean cosmetic dentologist. Therefore, he's doing free cleanings, extractions, and any kind of dental work for anybody who is either currently currently serving in the military, or a veteran. Please, please, please go ahead and check it out. The website is nyclaserdentist.com. If you want to make an appointment, you can still get in today. The telephone number is 212-684-4463. Also, my dear friend Barbara Silo is having her benefit tonight to support the New York City veterans along the same caveat. 7 to 11 p.m. tonight. There's absolutely no ticket price because it's absolute free admission. Silent auction, raffles, live music, entertainment, food. It's at Gennaro's Catering Hall, which is located in Brooklyn, New York. The address is 6602 13th Avenue. And last but not least, and of course I would be at all 3 of these events if I was in New York, but I'm here interviewing Marcell. Yeah, that's much better. Anyway, the last one is Brighter Children's 3rd annual benefit. Just so you guys know, brighterchildren.org is actually a nonprofit organization in New York City, and they attempt to end poverty through offering primary education in some of the impoverished communities. Today it happens to be their 3rd annual benefit to raise funds for their organization. The name of the location is the Penthouse. That's located in the hotel on Rivington. Exact address in Manhattan is 107 Rivington Street. You can still get tickets through the website, their website, which is www.brighterchildren.org. So whether you're in Milwaukee, whether you're in Manhattan, please support each and every one of these, or at least one of them if you can. I don't think you guys realize just how important it is to go out and support these folks, especially since some of them are indie-based, and we all know that I'm very big on indie-based. So without further ado, let's get Marcell on the line. I'm sure, at least I'm hoping he'll be nice to me today because I'm very nervous and tired. Is this Marcell?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi. I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. I'm more nervous now than when we did our first show. I don't think that's right.
Why are you nervous?
I don't think that's fair. Because they're a big deal. I hate it when it's hard. I interview local musicians, and then when I interview locals that are important to me and they're important, then I get all nervous. So now I'm all nervous, and you have me off my A game. But hi.
Well, that's a good thing, right? Hi.
Okay, well, first of all, we have to fix you because I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay, good. Let's hope you have an actual microphone at home so that you stay that close to me because I couldn't hear you at first. Okay, we have a lot of ground to cover, and there's new stuff on my list today that we're going to talk about that we didn't talk about before. So I'm going to surprise you. I have surprises today. I have news, and I have a belated birthday gift for you because I'm that nice. Yay!
Oh,
okay. We're going to jump all over the place. Well, because I have to surprise you and up the ante every time. It's one of those things. So we have a lot to talk about. So I want to start off talking about some of the important stuff. Like, first of all, one of the things I learned about you that I didn't know, and a lot of this stuff that we're covering today is for people in Milwaukee that don't know anything about you. I know a lot of this, but it's important for us to cover this. So I want you to talk to everybody about your background in music educationally. By that I mean I know you went to Sherwood High School, but fill everybody in on how you got most of your training and tuning and how you became this musician, meaning where you formally trained.
Well, I kind of lucked up and got it, you know what I mean? No. I started at Sherwood High School, as far as I was in the drama department under Barb Ginsler and Gary Pruitt, they were huge, and in the music department at Sherwood. And they're the ones that kind of took me under their wing and kind of showed me, they said, hey, this is what you're doing. But you don't know what you're doing, but this is what you're playing, but you don't know what you're playing. So why don't you go talk to the guys at the conservatory? And that's what I did. And I studied at the conservatory in music with a guy by the name of Tony King, which is, he's no longer with us, but that's where I got most of my jazz training from. So
okay.
Now, I want to ask, makes sense.
No, it does make sense, but I have a more specific question about that because as we all know, or at least most of us that either follow musicians or are musicians themselves, you develop your own style, meaning your own sound, your own style, the way you do things and how you want to hear your own music versus how other people want to hear it. So here's my question. Two big influences for you are Stevie Wonder and Billy Joel. So my question was, when you were growing up and you were young, let's say Sam's age or maybe a little younger, who kind of put the grassroots instilled into you, meaning musically? Who are some of the people that today, every time you play a gig, you're like, I want to play like that person, sound like that person, et cetera, because they've built something or instilled something in you? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a hard question to answer because because it was so many of them. I mean, it went through periods of my life where it was like, where there was a singer by the name of Donny Hathaway where I heard Donny sing and I was like, wow, no way do I sing like Donny Hathaway. But I said, I want to sing like that. But in order to sing like that, you have to play like that. So Donny Hathaway, the way he plays piano and the way he sings was just incredible to me. So, and then Donny Hathaway led me to Stevie Wonder, and I heard that, and I was totally blown away. I was like, wow, man, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So, then I started studying piano players like Billy Joel and Elton John, and then it just kind of morphed from there, So it went in many different directions in many parts of my life. So
now,
to answer your question directly, I want to play like all of those guys. I wanted to emulate that. I really wanted to know how they did that. I want to know what made them. I could physically do it, but I want to know what made them do that. And it was a lot. Had to do with their growing up and their lifestyle. So I looked at my lifestyle and the way I was growing up, and I started playing according to that. So that's what you got.
Well, I want to talk about that a little bit further because when you're saying that, what's interesting to those of you that are listening and that don't know this man or have never seen him play or perform, because I've had the benefit of doing it on multiple occasions, what I find interesting is that as I'm talking to you now on this interview, make no mistake that he sounds a little quieter and a little more nervous, a little more subdued than normal. So, like, let's say tonight I come to his show or next week I go to his show, and what you see is a lot of this high energy where he's standing up and he's dancing around and he's interactive with his crowd. So it's almost like two personalities of the same pro, if you know what I'm talking about, like you're two different men, so to speak. Where did you pick up that, what I call it, the showbiz side of things, meaning standing up, being interactive with the crowd, dancing around, getting them to be high energy? Where does all of that come from? Have you, like, studied somebody? I know that sounds stupid, but some musicians are like, oh, yeah, I watched tapes of so-and-so or so-and-so. How'd you develop all that?
Oh, that's a natural thing that you're talking about. That can't be studied because, well, it goes down to attitude, and it comes down to, you know, the way, you know, how do you want your audience to view you? You know, what it's about. You know, it's not about you. You know, it's about them. You know, I always tell myself, you know, this is never, ever about me. If I'm playing music, my piano is a tool to play the audience. The audience is the instrument, you know. That is the true instrument. So if I can make them sing, if I can make them dance, you know, when I say make, that means wanting them. They have to want to dance. They have to want to, you know, interact with me. I want them to be able to come up and talk to me, and, you know, I want them to even touch me while I'm playing. You know, just, hey, you know, I want to touch this guy. I want to be with this guy. You know, and that's music is what I'm talking about. And I want them, you know, I want them to be judged. I want them to sing and scream as loud as they can and jump as high as they can, and, you know, or just sit down and just watch a really good show. So I want to, you know, but I don't want to do it like, you know, I don't be phony about it. Like, hey, I want you guys to get into it. You know, come on, you know, look at me. It's not about that. It's about them, you know. So I kind of play on the emotions of people that I see in the audience when I play, you know.
Right.
So that's what it's about.
Okay. Now, refresh the audience's memory for those that have never listened in. When you first started out, was your primary passion always playing the keyboard or piano, or had you thought about delving into something else, guitar or some form of other instrumentation?
Well, I wanted to play guitar when I was like 5 or 6 years old. I was like, man, guitar is really cool. I seen Jimi Hendrix set a guitar on fire. I thought that was really cool. I was like, wow, man, the guitar's on fire. And I want to play that instrument, you know. But my mom, you know, didn't want me to play guitar. She wanted me to play piano because she said everything comes from the piano. And then once you learn piano, then you can play guitar. Well, I mean, I started playing piano, and I never picked up a guitar. So. Okay,
then. And here he is today, folks, still on that keyboard because he's not. Are you ever going to try the guitar, though? Because I think that would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
I mean, I can play guitar. I mean, I can play. I just, you know, I don't feel I play well enough to, you know, it's not polished well enough to play in front of an audience. You know, I can get my ideas down. So, I mean, it's not that I can't play guitar. I can play, but not. I wouldn't play it in public.
No, I understand. I do. And, you know, every time I look at this guy, because I've seen him repeatedly, as I mentioned, and one of the things I think about is, and I know that you're very busy, so I know that your schedule may not be able to accommodate this at this point, but it drives me nuts that you're not teaching kids on a regular basis. I mean, is that ever going to become, do you think, something that really kind of you're like, you know what, this would be a great way to contribute? You know what I mean? I just totally could see you teaching.
Well, I mean, I went to college to become a school teacher. Well, I started college. I didn't finish. I started college to become a school teacher. And when I started student teaching, it's something I just kind of didn't want to do. You know, I said, well, you know, it was a lot because in order to be a teacher, I feel you have to be on hand, you know, and students are going to call you up and they want answers, you know, and they want, you know, really good answers, and you have to know those answers or at least aim them in the right direction. And I just feel I couldn't dedicate myself, you know, to those students like that. And that's not fair to say you're going to teach and not really teach, if you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean, actually. It's just, it's your level of skill and ability and some of the things that you can teach someone that you've learned that sometimes, you know, you can only get by experience and wisdom and time, because obviously Marcell just had a birthday. So what are you, like 30 now, right? 31?
Sure.
32?
I'll take that.
I know how old your kid is, so I know how old you are. Thanks so much. But no, you know, as you know, there's stuff that Sam knows that you know, he knows, but he's still learning, obviously. Whereas you, being the older generation, you've had enough time and patience and you've honed your craft very, very well, as a matter of fact. So that's why the teaching component comes up. Speaking of teaching, now you're going to teach me something, Mr. Smarty Pants, because before you came on here, I decided to learn a little something about your instrumentation. So I'm really proud of myself. I did a little research. So this is what I know. So we're going to do a little trivia on this keyboard stuff because I don't know anything about this, but you're going to teach me about this because I'm going to learn about this. I've been told that the typical keyboard sizes vary from 61 keys to 76 keys to 88 keys. So we want to know, on average, typically does Marcell play the same keyboard or does he have a variety, and how many keys does he have on that keyboard?
I don't think about it that way. No, that's not the answer. No, it's really not. Okay. Well, let's go back. So when I play with my band, or when I play solo, I always play 88 keys. Because I'm a piano player. That's what I am. So that's what I learned on. So my bass is piano. If I'm playing with my band, then I have a top keyboard, it's a synth key. That's a 61 key. That's just my horns, my bells, my little sound effects or whatever I use, flutes, that kind of thing. But my ground instrument's 88 keys on the bottom. I gotta have piano. So 88 keys. But I will play them all. So.
Of course you will. And he plays them so well, I have to say.
So I'll take your trivia a little further. There's a piano that's made by Bosendorf. It's called a Bosendorfer. That has more than 88 keys.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
Yes.
See, this one I thought I had him over a barrel. I'm like, I'm going to know something he doesn't know about his own instrument. Damn it. Well, there's more. Okay, so just wait. Okay, so I've come to learn, supposedly, the top three brands that are out there relative to keyboards themselves, meaning the top three manufacturers are Yamaha, Casio, and Roland. So do you subscribe to using those three top brands, or do you have your own particular favorite that you utilize more often than not?
I'm a Yamaha guy. I like I like the Yamaha pianos. To me, they sound more authentic. Casios are not bad. They just stepped in the piano market not too long ago. I want to say, I don't know, maybe they always made like keyboards, but I'd say a good 10 years ago, they make the Privias. They're not bad, but I'm a diehard Yamaha guy. And the Rolands, I own Roland products too, but the Rolands are just a little too. Yeah, they're a little too tinny for me, but I do have them. But I'm a Yamaha piano guy. That's me.
Okay. Now, the current recommendation is, according to they, meaning the proverbial musicians who make keyboards out there, supposedly you are, it's advisable to replace your keyboards. Well, they manufacture new keyboards approximately every 2 years. So my question to you as a musician is, how often do you find yourself replacing, or do you feel like, I could play the same thing for 10 years and no big deal? Because I don't really understand the maintenance part of it. So is it vital, especially to folks listening in, should they be replacing their instruments in XYZ amount of time?
Well, it depends on how much you play. Like I said, I don't recommend replacing your instruments at all unless you need to. Like my top keyboard, I've been using. I use my X2 keyboard. I've been using that since '95. So
wow,
that's that long. Yeah, absolutely.
Holy
so
man.
I mean, I just think it's to each his own. If you take care of them, by investing in really good cases, you shouldn't have to replace them at all. Now keys you have to replace every now and again because the key beds get soft and sometimes they break. I break a lot of keys, and there's a guy named John Blick. Which is my piano repair guy. He lives right around the corner from my house, so I see him, maybe 3-4 times a year, and that's where we're at.
Nice, very nice. Now, another professional question. See, I'm on my A game today. I know all this stuff, and I'm so proud of myself. Listen to me, I'm patting myself on the back. Okay, because there's a piano on one side and there's a keyboard, and I know they're same but different. So here's my specific question to this. If you could tell me a bit about the difference style-wise and sound-wise between playing on a piano and playing on a keyboard, or is there really not much difference?
There's not much difference in style. Style is up to the individual.
Right.
That's up to the individual. But now a piano obviously is gonna, piano is like that's the king instrument. That's what you want. But it's hard to bring a piano to a gig because you have to tune it. If you move pianos, you have to tune them. There's a harp inside of it. That you have to tune. There's temperature changes. If it gets too cold and the strings loosen up, then they go flat. Then warm, cold. It's just not good for strings. So people resolve, they fix that by buying a keyboard. Hey, this sounds just like a piano. So I bring this 88 key piano to my show, and I thought, it sounds just like a grand piano. Great. But the problem there is the keys don't go down far enough on an electric keyboard as they do on a piano. So you have to internally change your feel a little bit to compensate, the difference, which the average person in the audience would never know. They won't know. They don't know how it feels because they're not playing it. But that's the difference that I experience.
Gotcha. Well, and the other thing is, too, what I'm thinking is, because most people don't know this, but when you're listening in today, I'll be the first one to admit, Marcell plays an exceptionally large number of gigs versus, let's say, another musician, for instance. They all play, but some play a little less. Obviously, Marcell plays on a regular basis. So my question is, and I think we might have covered this before, but this is important to talk about. Maintenance for Marcell, and when I say that, I mean physically, mentally, etc. Like one time you made a reference about playing 10 gigs in a week. So let's talk about that a little bit. So when Marcell is playing, an hour at a time or 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever, how much rest time is there? Do you need rest time? Are your fingers, do you have to worry about things like arthritis, et cetera? Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's a lot on your body. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not arthritis thing. No, I don't have arthritis yet. So let's hope that doesn't happen for a while.
Sure.
But,
no.
Yeah, it can be, it can become straining, physically and mentally. It's a lot with any job. With any job, you go do a job. It may be a different place, but it's kind of the same routine. You have to, it gets mentally, you get tired mentally. You just do. It's like, oh man, I don't want to see another keyboard. I don't want to see another piano. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to sing another note. I want somebody else to do it. I want to sit down and watch. That happens, but that's just part of any job, though. It doesn't take away my desire to play. But yeah, you need rest. You need to. It's not like I'm doing hard physical labor. But you need to exercise. You have to. You have to walk away from it for a while. And just
sure.
And get like a fresh take. So like my free time would be, to like sit at home and do absolutely nothing, because I'm always on the go, always out, always, talking to people and that kind of thing. So rest for me is a big thing. Just getting away, not doing anything, and it doesn't mean going to a bar. That doesn't mean, I'm a boater, so I'll jump on the boat and hit the boat. I'm a Harley rider. I'll jump on the bike. So that's part of it. I know it sounds, that doesn't seem like, it's therapeutic for me, and I need that to play a lot. And I do play a lot. I do gig. Like I played at Rare Steakhouse. I play on the Wednesdays, and I played there from 4 to 10. So,
right.
And I only took one break. So that's a long time to play.
Yeah, he does. He does play that. You do. You're consummate with that, as a matter of fact. And I wanted to ask you about that, too, because I sometimes wonder if you're doing that more for yourself or for the audience. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, E-Rock's relatively similar, and some of the other musicians in town, meaning they'll go on a stretch for, like, a good hour and a half, and they'll keep playing, and I'm thinking to myself, don't they have to, like, pee or eat or, like, get a drink? Or do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I wonder that. I'm like, we love it, because we're part of the audience, but is that in part something that you just enjoy doing, meaning you love it so much that you don't want to stop,
Well, it's that, too. It's that you enjoy it, which I do enjoy playing. It's also sometimes you're working the tip jar. Hey, man, if I sit there and play, I can make more tips. That's part of it, depending on the gig, depending on the day. Sometimes I'm just going to, the time goes, it goes faster when you sit down and play. Not that you want the time to go fast, but in some cases, like, hey, I just want to play. I just want to get through the gig, because I got other things that I need to do. Now,
of course.
But when you do that, it's not taking away from your gig. It's like it's easier. The time just goes easier. It's almost like reading a book. Hey, I want some free time. I want to read this book. I want to play this music. I want to get through the gig. That's what you want to do in a good way. Not like I want to rush through the gig, but I want to. It makes it go fast. It makes the gig go faster. You look up and go, oh wow, I'm almost done. Which is a really cool feeling. You're like, hey, I'm almost done. I can. Now I can mingle a little bit. So then you go to play, and then it feels like you're not even playing. It's like, hey, I'm done. That was easy. I could have just played straight through. You didn't take a break.
Yep. I do. Every time I do a show, I look up and I'm like, oh, my God, that show was like going on forever, but it seemed like it was 15 minutes. I mean, unless you're talking to Marcell,
right.
then you're nervous every waking second.
Yeah,
I'm still nervous. Okay. I trust me. Just wait till later. So you had a segment like 2 minutes ago talking about the things you like. And whenever I talk about Marcell, he doesn't know this, but I always say Marcell likes the three Bs. That's what I call it, which is boats, bikes, and ball. And in this particular case, it's the only problem that I have with Marcell, which is he's a Green Bay fan. So I try to pretend like that doesn't happen or exist because I try not to put any mental energy into that. But I just saw something I want to ask you about. Really cool idea. One of your friends posted about you participating in a Sunday open jam / karaoke thing instead of watching football. And I thought, how cool of an idea is that, right? I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like at a house or something like that, that's amazing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't make it to that one. That was a really good friend of mine, Brian Wirt.
Right.
He had that, and I couldn't make it. But I'm actually doing a gig with him on October 28th or 29th, whatever Sunday that is. We're going to do it at Sloppy Joe's, and so I'll get a chance to play with him then. But yeah, absolutely, great idea. Great idea.
It is a good idea, definitely, without a doubt. Oh, and apparently there's one thing that you do like, because last time you were on the show, you kind of skirted around this issue, but now if you go to Marcell's Facebook page, you have the most beautiful person that helps you with your equipment and supports you at your gigs. Is that your wife? Future wife? Girlfriend? What's her name again?
My girlfriend, yeah. I'm not married. But yeah,
I know you're not married.
Girlfriend.
Yeah, so let's talk about Heather a little bit. I just had to throw that in there. Because you know what the best way to get a wedding gig is? Get married. Because you could totally play your own wedding. Well, I'm just throwing that out there, like some kind of maybe throwing that out there sort of thing. But we do want to talk about Heather because I have a question. Clear, and it's not a marriage question.
First of all, okay, because I was going to say, because, you know how I feel about the whole marriage thing. It's not nothing against Heather, nothing against anybody in the world. You brought it up, so, it's just like, the laws in Wisconsin and blah, blah, blah. Hey.
I know.
Hey.
Boy, do I know. I hear it every time I see him. I try, folks, I try every time I see him. And it's just like, how to get it one day. Anyways, we do want to mention Heather for one particular reason or another. Because I'm a firm believer in this. You've been in a relationship for 4 years now with Heather. So here's my question, because I ask a lot of musicians this. Oftentimes, one of the reasons why musicians are do so well personally and professionally is because they have a great support system. So that includes not just Heather, but obviously your child and your family base. So talk to me a little bit about how they kind of inspire and motivate you to be a better man and a better musician.
Well, I don't think – and like I said, this is probably not the answer you're looking for, but
there's no right answer, dear. Just yours.
Okay. No, that's what I'm saying. People think, okay, well, because of these people that don't get me wrong. People are very supportive. I know it sounds really bad, and I'm probably, but that's not. You have to be okay as an individual. You have to know who you are. You have to have goals for yourself. And you have to be able to execute those goals for yourself. Now, everybody else and anything else that comes along with that, that's just candy on top of it, But if you're not okay, if you're not strong as an individual, then everything else is going to crumble. So I would like to think that, that I kind of have my stuff together, before, I present myself to all these people,
Sure.
That includes Heather, and, so yeah. Because, if I don't have it together, then, then they're going to look at me and go, hey, this guy doesn't really have it together, And it's like, oh, please, can you help me get this together, That's not going to last, because then you're riding on somebody else's thing, you know what I mean? I need this person to be here. I need this. I need these, I need my son here, because if my son's not here, I can't function. Now he's in college, so if I depended on my son to be here, I would have crumbled, you know what I mean? So I'm a realist.
Yes, he is.
If things decide to change in your life, if something happens beyond your control, then then what happens? Then what do you have? You have to go back to you, and you have to be strong for yourself. And that's one of the reasons why I can play a solo gig, because if my band can't make it, I can do it. I can make it happen. You know what I mean? So drop me off in a town. Drop me off in a town anywhere. 6 months you'll be coming to my house. You know, I'll be having it. I'll get it together. I'll make it happen. You know, not saying that I do not. We're talking about Heather. Not saying I don't. Heather makes a lot of things happen for me. You know, so and she does. You know, she helps me out. You know, she's there for me. You know, hopefully I'm there for her. You know.
I was just gonna say you're not. Yeah. Let me just comment on that. Are you ever on social media? Do you know who you are? Okay. I mean, oh my God, folks. Let me just say. The most special, the most amazing man. He makes my heart beat. That's what oh my God, dude. She's like so into you. It's like, oh my God. And it's touching and it's sweet and it's very sentimental. And so, yeah, she adores you. Absolutely no doubt whatsoever. But I do have a question relative to her because obviously I know that when you guys first met, you know, the motorcycle thing was kind of new for Heather. So did she ever come to you and say, you know what, can you teach me how to play the keyboards or the piano? Has she ever had an interest in tooling around with the music stuff?
Absolutely not. I mean, I mean, as far as like learning how to play, I mean, as far as her playing, no, she doesn't have an instrument. No, she's like, you know, she's like, no. She's like, I'll play a triangle, is what she says. But now, you know.
That's funny.
But,
just no interest. It's okay. It's fine.
But make no mistake about it. I mean, she's very supportive in what I do, and I really appreciate that. Like, because I'll drag her into a music store, you know. It's like, you know, I mean, she doesn't have a clue, but she'll be there with me, and this is, you know. She knows prices and she knows what I like, you know, and she has an eye for it. You know, she's bought, you know, she buys me things, you know, for,
Aww.
you know, just, you know, yeah, absolutely. You know, she's like, I saw you looking at this and blah, there it is. I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, how sweet is that? It was the thing. That's the one. So, you know, she did the research on it. She's like, that's what I was looking for. She's like, I know.
Aww, that's so sweet. See, we are totally Team Heather on this show. Totally Team Heather right now. Not that I'm not Team Marcell, but totally Team Heather. I'm just going to throw that out there. So thanks for that little explanation. So the next question, and you probably won't like this one because you'll be like, where the hell is that coming from? The other day I was wondering to myself, have you ever played classical music? Because in my brain I was picturing you, and I kid you not, this is a compliment. I could see you playing a funeral. That's probably not right, is it? But I totally could, because I'm like, if he played classical music, like maybe he could like be comforting people at a wake, or you know, just a thought.
I mean,
throwing it out there.
I mean, I study classical music just to kind of say, okay, hold on, let me see where this is coming from. You know, I kind of studied it, but it's just really not my thing. You know, and I'll listen to it. You know, it's not somebody's like, yeah, it's because you can't play it. No, that's not what it is. It's just like you know, it's just not my thing. You know, if you look at a classical background, it's not my background. It's not where I came from. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's just not. It's not my thing. You know, if classical music, if I came from that, I'd probably be playing it. But if I look at the people that play classical music and look at their background and what, you know, and what they're into, that's just not. You know, it's just not. It's not the thing that turns my crank. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
Not saying
completely.
I appreciate it. I totally appreciate it, and and classical music. I'm not pulling anything away from classical music. It's amazing. It is, and I was like, wow. You know, I'm like, wow, that's. But for me, as you know, well, what do I want to listen to, and what do I want to? It's not my thing. And I never, and I'm not, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just have to.
No, I get it. He's so funny. Let me just clarify. No, wait. Let me just clarify. Here's my opinion, but let me just clarify. I think we get you. I understand. I just saw the classical thing. I was like, this would be cool because, believe it or not, folks, even though you can't see it and you will hear it when I play his music, that's one of the finest things that I admire about your talent is the fact that you actually do play well, meaning like some people can get on stage and you know that they play good, but you actually play extremely proficiently and with great passion. And that comes across in every single show, folks. I guarantee you that. And I'm not just saying that because I like it just a wee bit, but it's true. And no lie. So we want to talk a bit about your background in music because you've played a gazillion places from all sorts of festivals and obviously the big summer fest in town. One of the things that I found out about you that I thought was really cool, and I want you to talk about this, because in the past you've gone to various states to play, but you also went to like Hong Kong and Singapore, which I never knew. What made you want to go that far away? Or was that like way on, or how did all that happen?
Well, it was offered to me, so I was like, yes, I'll take it. No,
well, that's simple.
I really never really had a desire to leave the country, and that's probably because, you know, the media, you know, they kind of scare you into doing things. I was like, you know, I don't really want to leave the country. And the first time I left the country was in 92. We were doing a gig somewhere. I think it was downtown Chicago, and then some little Chinese guy, he walked up to me, and I'm like, okay, I'm this little black dude talking to this little Chinese guy. We're sitting there talking, and we became friends. And, and he said, I want you to play in my country. And I said, okay. And I said, just set it up and I'll be there. And then we were just talking, and I said that to everybody. Hey, man, just set it up and I'll be there. And which is true, and it's true. Mm-hmm. So he called me about a month later. This is back in 92, and he called me a month later and said, hey, do you remember talking to me? And I said, yeah, I remember you. He said, okay. He said, well, I have you, can I book you from January till next January? I said, that's a whole year. He said, yes. I said, absolutely. So, and talked to my band, and they said, yeah, we're in. And he said, okay, you have tickets waiting for you, and you'll be at the Hyatt Regency in Hong Kong from January to January. He sent me the contract, and the number was right, and we did it. And I was like, oh, I'm leaving. Now, I didn't have any kids. I didn't have, it was just me.
Right.
So we all jumped on a plane, and that's how it happened. And once I got there, all the things that, all my prejudges about leaving the country all kind of went away, because it was a very cool experience. And I was very glad that I went. It was one of the most important things in my life,
Oh, my God.
Experience-wise.
Awesome.
And I was like, wow. So,
without a doubt. Absolutely.
We were there for almost 2 years, and I learned a lot about culture, a lot about the language, I learned a lot about me, just being out of the country. I learned a lot about the United States, how we have it made here. Because they were, once I came back here, I was like, whoa, man, I'm glad to be home, It's like, wow, I had a different appreciation for life here in America, And then I went again. In 2013, I think I went again. I went back to Hong Kong and Singapore. I did a private party, and that was, I was there before, but this is on a cruise ship, so it was for John Hancock Insurance. That they rented a cruise ship out, and I got a chance to hang out with a comedian named Kevin Meaney. Oh God, he's so funny, and got a chance to hang out with Olivia Newton-John. She was the headliner on the ship. So, and even that was that was a whole different experience, because the first time I went away, I didn't have a kid. This time I went away, I had my son. My son was here, so it was kind of hard to leave him.
Sure.
But hey, the money was right. We talked about it. He said, Dad, you better go. I was like, I think you're right.
End of discussion. There you go. Boom, done. Wow.
That's pretty much how it went. Because at that time, pretty much I run everything by my son. I was like, hey, what do you think? If I had to leave for a little while, I wouldn't go for like 6 months or anything like that. But I said, hey, they're making me an offer I can't refuse. I was like, I'll be gone for like a month, maybe a month and a half. He was like, you better go. So that's what we did. We decided, and I went, and and now I'm back. But so hope I answered your question.
Well, at the risk of getting lynched, I'm afraid to ask this question, but we do have an international following on this audience, like in Italy and France and Germany. So if there's any international people listening, here's Marcell on the line. So if you wanted to offer him a gig right now for how many months, you'd be okay with that? I'm not answering this.
Well, now I'd be okay with it. Like I said, my son is my son's gone, so he's in college, and I'm good for 6 months.
Oh my God, he's like, I'm just going to go for 6 months. Oh my God, I'm so in trouble. I'm just throwing that out there as potential business. That's all. It's one of those things. One of the past things in your, I forgot about this part, but you used to be part of the Marcell Guyton trio, and I forgot that you were even. What was that again? Because I couldn't remember today. I came across this in an old article, and I was like, I should ask him whatever happened to this trio thing that he had going on. Do you even do that anymore? You don't, right?
I don't. It was a trio. Well, I kind of do a three-piece now, but not the same. Right. And then it was myself, obviously, and then Phil Merritt, which is the bass player for the Rhythm Kings, and then there was a guy named Dale Bennett that played drums. And,
gotcha.
And that we were, and Dale was just phenomenal. He's a phenomenal drummer. He moved away, I think in 2012. I think he moved to Memphis. Once he moved, it was just kind of like, I went back to playing solo. But that was a trio. And we used to play. Yeah, we had a blast playing that trio. We could sit down and just play like almost anything,
I totally get it.
So
and the other thing,
that was a trio.
the dueling pianos, because I've seen you do dueling pianos not very often, but I've always wanted to ask this question. Sometimes I looked at you play and I wonder to myself, I wonder if dueling pianos is a means for both of them to sharpen their skills, because there is a bit of competition involved with that, obviously. But you have two people that are at the top of their craft playing, so you probably don't get to do that much anymore now, do you? And do you miss that sort of thing?
You know, I don't miss it. I mean, it's there, you know, and I just played a dueling piano gig about a month ago at Acuity Insurance. So I mean, they're there, you know.
Sure.
But dueling pianos is, it was huge. I don't know, from like 2007 here. Now it's huge all over. But here in Milwaukee, it got big around 2007, 2008 until about maybe 2012 or 13. And then it kind of died down.
Right.
And
I miss that.
So to answer your question, I mean, it's you and a piano and an audience, and you have to make that song sound as good as you can with what you have, and you have to get the audience into it, and you have to make it happen, and that's a challenge to do that.
Really?
For
Even
me,
for you?
yeah. Well, it's a challenge for anybody, to do.
Sure.
I don't care how good of a piano player you are, how good of a singer you are. It's a challenge for you to rock that audience on that piano. It's just you and that instrument. That's all there is. That's all you have.
Right.
And you have to make it happen. And you have to make it happen all night. That's not easy to do.
That's awesome. So I have another question for you, if it's okay, because you are the guest on here. So when I posted up the announcement that we were having you on the show, I told your friends that you would be able to take questions if they called in. Would that be okay? With you?
Okay, good.
Are you going to yell at me?
That's fine.
Okay.
No, not at all.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. All right, are you all prepared? Because this might be a complicated question. We'll see. I have no idea who this is, so we'll find out. Okay.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Hi, do you have a question for Marcell?
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Hey.
Hello.
How
my
are
name
you?
is Sam Guyton. I am your son. I'm calling in to say how are you?
Yay!
Oh,
We're both on at the same time. I'm so excited.
Yes, we are.
This is
Sydney,
so
how are
exciting.
you?
Oh, my God, I'm so excited right now. It's like father and son. Like, here's one side. They're both on one side of me. Now I'm terribly petrified. I'm petrified right now. I don't even know if I can do this right now. I'm scared. I'm so afraid. So surprise, Marcell. I didn't want you to figure out that your kid was calling in, so you're not mad, are you? Like,
you're going to make me cry is what you're going to do. Yeah, right here.
Well, hello. I'm not stupid. Okay, so I have a question for you, Sam, about your father, because you're on the line right now. So let's talk to Sam a little bit about his dad. In case you folks don't know, just a small background, Sam is obviously Marcell's son, who is now obviously a current student at NYU. So the first question I want to ask you, Sam, because you obviously have a different view than I do. I'm, of course, his friend, and I'm also obviously someone who attends his shows. You are his son. So talk to his audience a little bit about him being a dad, and then, of course, him being the dynamic piano player that he is. What can you tell his audience about who he is and why they should go see him?
Okay, absolutely. So I think when people go see him perform, they of course see him, as kind of like happy-go-lucky guy, and maybe, that's kind of a thing that he might turn on and off. But in reality, he's actually always like that. He's very much so into the music, and he's having fun when he's doing music. And 9 times out of 10 in real life, he's always having fun. So I think it's important that when people go see him perform, that they know it's not just that. That's his whole life. That's all that he's been doing for 20, 30 years. And I think that's very, very awesome. I think that means something to be able to do it for so long and still find that joy.
Well, and just to make a correction, that's not really his whole life. Actually, his whole life is on the line right now, literally on this phone call, obviously. Just so you know, Sam, in case he's not told you this, because he's told every one of us this, which is, he's kind of, his whole world has been wrapped around Sam, obviously. And so I have another question, Sam. One of the things I noticed today when I looked at a picture of two of you, and it was probably about 5 or 10 pictures, I don't know if either one of you noticed this, but you both kind of have that same, not only do you have the same eyes, but you have that same look of excitement when you're performing or when you take pictures together,
Good.
etc. Is that done intentional? Do you notice that about each other? Have you seen that?
No.
Look at you. I mean,
no.
really. Marcell,
Yeah,
do you see that when you look at him?
Yeah, I've never noticed that. I think it's cool that you bring it up. I mean,
Sure.
that's something that other people see that I don't even see. That's just natural. That's just how it is. It just, it feels good. We get to do something that we love like all the time. Like, why wouldn't we just be as happy as possible?
Exactly. I agree with you. Now, Marcell, I have a question for you because obviously Sam just started at NYU, and very recently I saw that he just posted up that he played at Ashford and Simpson Sugar Bar. So how do you feel as a dad, meaning now not only have you sent him off to New York and he's a student, and now he's played this gig there and he's kind of establishing himself. How does that feel for you?
It feels great, as far as life goes. But as a dad, I'm a little scared. I'm always cautious of my son who's around. But he's got to go out and he's got to do it. He's got to grow up and he's got to, you got to let him do it. So it's bittersweet. It's great that he has to go out and stake his claim in the world. He's a citizen of the USA.
I get it.
He's got to make it happen.
So what did you teach him, Marcell, or what have you taught him or passed on to him that he should know about both life and music?
Dum. Good question.
Well, I always try and, always do what you say you're going to do, in life. Always, that's a hard question. Because I'm sorry. It's kind of hard to say, it's kind of hard to say what I teach him because, we lived it, you know what I mean?
Right.
We lived, that's how we live, It's like, hey, I don't even know how to answer that question. And it's like, as far as the music goes, I said, hey, always bring your A game, if you got something going on, don't ever take it to the stage. When you're up there performing, you do 100%, above and beyond the call of duty, and that's it. I always tell them my biggest thing was the audience is the instrument. You're the tool. Make sure you keep your toolbox full so you can always have stuff to go back to and present it to your audience, and you just keep, you make an impression, You keep pounding them over the head in a good way so that, hey, so when you say Sam Guyton, it's like, okay, wow, that's big. So
Sure.
That's what I taught him musically.
Well, Sam, I guess here's my question to you, because obviously you're new at NYU, so we want to know not only how was the college experience, but how did the gig go the other night? Because clearly this is new for you, right? This is all very different.
Yeah, absolutely. So NYU is going very well. Of course, it's definitely a challenge here. I'm surrounded by people that are doing the exact same thing, and they have the same passion that I do, which I think is great. I love being around that. The energy is good. Correction, the gig, it was actually not a gig. It was actually an open jam. So what I'm doing right now
is... Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So I'm going around to just, various places that hold these jams, and I'm not, I'm going up there because I have to. It's so much fun. I like having fun sometimes. I don't have time to, to go and do gigs every weekend just due to the academic load. But if I can go out and sing a few songs, that kind of does it for me as of right now. And talking about classes, I'm actually walking back into class in like 2 seconds here. So I just wanted to thank you
sorry, Sam.
for having me call in. No. But I also want to give a little shout out to Saluno Calhoun that I think you're going to be there January 5th, right?
Yes.
And Generation Z is going to come back, and we're going to be there the very next day, the 6th. So who's ever listening in, if you guys are fans of the Rhythm Kings or Generation Z, so I guess the Guytons are taking over Saloon that weekend. So I think that's important.
And Sam, make sure you check your. I didn't know that you had to dash off so soon, so I had a surprise for the both of you. So check your message box when you get off of here, because you'll be very happy. I have 2 things for you. The festival's one of them, and then the other thing I haven't told your dad yet, but it'll be there. And thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. I think he was surprised. Anytime, dear. Good luck. Talk to you later, dear.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Love you, buddy.
Am I cool or what? That was kind of awesome, wasn't it, though? That really was kind of cool.
Yeah, you got me for a loop on that.
You didn't have any idea, did you? And the surprises will continue. Well, he is your kid, and I know you like him a little, and I like him a whole lot. So I was like, okay, doesn't he sound so mature, though, now? Like, he totally sounds so mature, doesn't he? He, has all these answers.
Absolutely.
He's really serious. He sounds so great. Oh, my gosh. I hope I didn't make you cry. Well, kind of in a good way. But anyways, so that's Sam, everybody. Isn't that awesome? Major announcement on my show. So you heard it. January 6th, 2018. Marcell and his son are taking the house over at Swoon on Calhoun. That's awesome. Okay. So now that we're done with Sam, I don't think anyone else is calling in except for a big Hollywood producer who wants to put your music in a movie. Would that be okay?
That'd be fun.
Okay.
That would be perfect.
I want to make sure that I talk about a couple of things because you are a Wisconsin musician, obviously. So the first thing is, in case you folks didn't know this, Marcell has been a Whammy nominee, obviously, of course, Keyboardist of the Year. So talk to me about that. When somebody says to you, hey, I think you're good enough to be considered blank of the year, whatever have you, whether it's Whammy or anyone, is that important to you, meaning industry recognition, or is that just something you never expected or tried for, or what does that mean to you?
It means that I'm honored that somebody would, add my name to, the 6 or 7 names that are on that same list, so it's like, wow, it's a big deal. Did I try for it? No, I just, I'm real laid back, I really enjoy what I do, and I'm not, I don't want to play to impress or just, to get my name on them. Hey, I want that award, If it comes, it comes, that's great. If it doesn't, just having my name here is, standing next to those guys is great. Especially a guy named Theo Mayweather. Theo and I grew up together, and he has always been a phenomenal. Yeah, so yeah, he is phenomenal. Also one of my best friends. So to be considered to stand next to him I'm honored.
Speaking of
I made it in life.
So this has been said of you, and I love this quote actually. In fact, it's one of the ones that I've read, and I thought this puts you to a T. But I want to know what you think of this. When someone refers to you as one of the finest keyboard player vocalists in the Midwest, would you concur with that?
Oh.
I mean, do you own that?
I don't know if I own it.
You should. That's why I'm asking.
I'm just going to say I'm honored, That goes back to, hey, I'm honored somebody would say that, I don't really consider myself a vocalist. I just consider myself, I kind of sing along so that I can know what I'm playing when I sing. Just kind of happened that way.
Listen to him. Oh, my God, you are so underplaying this. It's ridiculous. Oh, my God. Oh. Okay. So now, since I can ask you this because you're a musician and I'm not, if there are people listening today, because this is huge. Obviously, you live in Milwaukee. You don't live in New York or Chicago or L.A. So if there's somebody listening in who's on the slow track to becoming a musician or wants to be a musician, living in the Milwaukee area all these years and being in the industry for so long, what are some of those telltale sort of, okay, if you want to succeed to any degree in this city, what would you advise them to do?
First of all, I would say, you have to have goals, and one of the goals I'd lose one of the goals as far as let me make it to the top of Milwaukee, because there's a big world, not down in Milwaukee, but there's a big world outside of Milwaukee, and with any game there are a lot of politics in it, there are a lot of there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of cheating going on in this game. There are a lot. So you have to, whatever you're going to do, musician, whatever you're going to do in life, but we're talking about music here, so let's just stay on that. Yeah. Keep your nose to the grindstone, keep your goals true to yourself. And you set those goals high and you reach for them, whether that's, hopefully that's beyond Milwaukee, and then everything else will fall in place, If there's a certain gig you want to play, just walk up and ask, can you play that gig? But hopefully you're ready to play it. Make sure that you're ready to do what it is that you want to do in life. And I think everything else will fall in place. Whether it's Milwaukee, whether it's Chicago, whether it's New York, I don't care where it is. But now with social media and YouTube and and Twitter and There was a thing called Stage It, or Your Show. I mean, there's so many outlets that you can use to, you know, to get your music out there and get yourself out there. And, you know,
sure.
And you can create an audience. You can create an internet audience and make a living just doing that. And nobody national will ever know who you are, you know. So just, you know, keep those goals true to yourself, you know.
Good answer.
That's
very good answer.
That's my advice.
Nice. Now, the difference between the last time you're on the show and this time is I have music this time, and what's really cool is I have original music. So I have to tell you folks, every time I go see him, I'm on his ass like white on rice. Well, I can't say ass, it's my show. Because this is what I always want to hear. Marcell, 90% of the time, is playing all these wonderful songs, and you've heard them all, and they're wonderful, and he does them great, and then I'm like, he's like, any requests? And I'm like, original. Every time it's original, then he looks at me like he's nauseated for some reason, like, oh, my God, she wants me to play something that I put together. Imagine that, original music. So, yes, so today I said, Marcell, you have to send me this song. So I want you to give a little segue into this song, of course, because folks, Get in the Groove, which I'm playing, is actually part of the Milwaukee Bucks CD. He had actually had Chris Pipkins play the sax on this. And so talk to me a bit about when you produced this song. And, of course, tell us when we can expect some original music from Marcell. Well, like we could actually buy a CD of all his original music, because I'd like to know. And I'm sure our audience would, all 62,000 of them. Thank you. Go ahead.
It's coming. So, well, this song, Get in the Groove, you know, I wrote this song actually for the Milwaukee Bucks. They were supposed to make the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs, so they actually wanted to buy the song at that time. That was a while ago. But I said, nah, I think I'm just going to keep it. So, but I wrote that song for the Milwaukee Bucks. And, you know, Chris Pipkins walked in. First take, I played the song for him. First take, he played it. He played the sax line in it. That was a one take. There was no starting over. He did it one time. He walked in with his sax. He said, play it. We played it one time through, and then he recorded it. And then he said, okay, I got to go. And he packed up his sax and he left. And I was like, you just did some amazing sax playing on this song. He was like, yeah, it was pretty cool, wasn't it? And then he had to go to another gig, so he was on the run. So that's what blew me away about this song. Yeah,
it's an awesome song, and I've heard it a bunch of times, and it's absolutely awesome. So what are you going to do with the song now? You wouldn't let the Bucks buy it, so what are you going to do?
Back to my son. Now that my son's gone to college, I got about 10 songs that I have. I'm actually going to re-release that song, and I'm going to put with the other 9 songs that I have. Well, the other 10 songs that I have on the CD. And then when I headline in Jazz on the Vine at Elkhart Lake for Mother's Day weekend coming up in May. I'm gonna have it ready by then, and then I'm gonna sell. I will sell the I don't know if you call it the MP3 or the app, whatever you call it, the download for it.
Oh no, I know what you mean. I get it.
Yeah,
I do. That's awesome. He actually gave us somewhat of a date. I'm actually excited. I've only been asking him for about 2 years or so. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give him 3 minutes to be quiet and me to be quiet, and let's play Get in the Groove.
Get in the groove.
See, now, I want everybody to go and see Marcell play live music, and then every time you see him, you just say, I want to hear an original song. And this will kind of force him to play original music. That's my goal here, is to just make everyone make him play this music all the time. Okay, so I want to go through a couple things here, because obviously we want to talk about your upcoming events. Today, I know you're at Havana Cigar Bar and Lounge from 8:30 to 11:30. Folks, if you don't know this, they have an open jam that goes on. Now, correct me, is it every week or every other week for Havana? I just want to be clear.
It's every week.
It is every
Thursday.
week. Okay, so got it. And that's Havana Cigar Bar and Lounge, which is located on Greenfield Avenue in West Dallas. And that's from 8:30 to 11:30. I have to be present this evening because I have to see Charles Barber, who I'm told will be there. So that means I must be there. So you'll see me tonight. Won't that be exciting? And then he will be on the 13th at Brass Tap in Greenfield from 8 to 12. And then beyond that, of course, besides the private fairs, which we all can't go to, on the 21st he'll be at Johnny Manhattan's, which is in Hubertus, from 7 to 10 p.m. And then on the flip side of the fence for Rhythm Kings, November 3rd he'll be at Saloon on Calhoun from 8:30 to 12:30. And, of course, he mentioned Elkhart Lake, but, of course, we'll talk about that next year, which is for Mother's Day, which is, of course, that Mother's Day weekend event where he'll have his original music. I'm so excited. And then, of course, Marcell and Sam together, January 6th, 2018 at Saloon on Calhoun. Have I missed anything else that you have going on, like in the near future?
October 28th, we're going to be at Moe's Irish Pub in Tulsa.
Oh, yeah, that's right. October 28th.
Yeah.
And the 29th you have a gig as well. I didn't write that one down, but I know that there's one on the 29th. Which leads us to the next thing, which is I'm going to list off all the places where you can find Marcell, and then I have two questions relative to that. Marcell is on Facebook, and his last name is spelled Guyton. Obviously, Marcell, Marcell. He has a personal page and two other pages. One simply called Marcell. One is the Rhythm Kings Milwaukee. He can be found on YouTube, Gigmasters, MilwaukeeRocks.com, MarcellGuyton.rocks, which is his website where you can find all the different events and him and his face. And Reverb Nation, the Twitter handle for the band, well, that's because his face is and everything, and I have a question about that. Twitter handle is @TheRhythmKings. And I wanted to ask you, you do have a LinkedIn profile, but there's nothing on it. So, like, can anybody reference that, or was that just a mistake? Because I came across that, and I'm like, does he know that that's out there?
I did not know that was there.
Well, now you know, because I'm a journalist. There you go. So you better go check yourself out on LinkedIn, because you exist, and it does say Milwaukee musician, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't list anything. It's like got no face. It has no profile, whatever. But if you Google yourself, by the way, Google yourself. There's like 10 pages worth of you. Like literally, Google Marcell. There's like 10 pages on the internet of him. It's so popular. He's so popular, it's sickening. I'm like, it's ridiculous. That's the question I forgot to ask you. Marcell is infamous for filming himself live, or Heather is filming himself live. See, whenever Marcell's doing a gig, he's always filming himself, or he's filming the band, etc. I want to know why you do that. Is that just a means to incorporate social media audience, or have you always done that? I was just curious about that.
That's more for social media. You know, I got not a lot of people, but I have a few people that just can't make it to some gigs. I'm like, hey, you know, here we go. You know, and I'll just social media it out there. You know, we're here. Gotcha. You know. And some people go, well, what do you do in your free time? That's why I always get on my boat, and I always, you know, I'll go live on Facebook on my boat and go, here I am. This is what I do. I'm very boring.
I did. I saw that. I'm very boring. He's so damn far from boring, it's ridiculous. Don't let him fool you. Absolutely, absolutely not. And the other thing I found is, which I'm sure you know, so you do have your YouTube channel, so should folks be subscribing to that? Because I know that you're on there, but not often. So is that your intention to build on the YouTube channel? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, in 2018, I've got control videos that I'm gonna put on. So
okay,
that's the stuff that's on there now is kind of random, but I'm going to put some control videos on there just for YouTube and YouTube only, because I know a lot of people go to YouTube. So
right, we do, obviously. Okay. Now, the last thing that we do on this show, you already know, which is I get to give you your surprises, and I get to tell you what I think of you. And that's ironic, folks, because whenever I go to a gig, I get to hear what he thinks of me all the time. He picks on me constantly, just so you folks know, all the time. I'm like his number one kick in the butt, so to speak. So I don't want to forget to I'm going to remind you this. In 2 hours, of course, I'll send you the link for Blog Talk Radio. I'm on YouTube now, so this will be uploaded onto my YouTube channel, so I'll send you copies of both of these so that you'll have that, and everybody else can come back and listen to it anytime. Second of all, surprises. I'm always big on surprises, and I like to surprise somebody like you because, well, I don't get to do it that often. First of all, obviously your son was hopefully the best surprise. Hopefully you weren't expecting to hear from him today, so that was kind of cool. Second of all, we've talked about this before, but I'm not really talking about it anymore. I'm telling you that you need to do this. If it's okay, I would like you to make me 25 copies of Get in the Groove because I have filmmakers in New York City that would like to hear your music, and my film festival is 2 weeks away. So if you want to be in film, you need to give me 25 discs of that. And then this is where you say yes, Cindy.
I have 25.
Hello?
I'll give you copies of it. Okay, I'm there. Are you there?
Thank you. Oh, see? Yes. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
trying
now?
to mute me out, huh? I hear you.
Okay. No! You can hear me now. Okay, don't freak me out.
Yes.
Okay, so that was surprise number one. So surprise number two is this. This is a recent development. So I was just wondering, I came across this because I see that you're booked the 28th and 29th of October, right, for gigs here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means you can't be in New York City. But your son can be in New York City. So if I can continue to coerce him, your son will be playing at my film festival live in front of all of these different people, which I'm so excited about. However, the venue by which I'm having the film festival, which is it's a bar/restaurant/lounge area inside the Four Points Sheraton Hotel. They're looking for musicians, and so I pitched you and your son both and individually, and they said they would like to have one or both of you play either together or separately at this hotel in New York City. So I kind of booked you a gig in New York City.
There you go.
All by myself, all alone.
10%, right?
0%, and maybe you'll just be freaking nice to me now, once in a while, once in a great while. So those are,
I'm always nice to you.
Yeah, right. Don't even start. So those are your surprises, and I think those are cool surprises. So the very last thing we're going to do before I let you go, because I have to write Q&A panels, and then I have to come and see you play music later. So therefore, that means I have things to do. But I don't want to wrap up the show without telling you what I think of you. And if you guys didn't get a chance to listen to our first interview, you'll kind of hear some of the same stuff, but it holds true. Marcell and I have known each other for a while now, and I've come to learn and appreciate certain things about him. He is 100% genuine. He is 100% full of life and energy, and he makes me smile. He doesn't realize this, but one of the reasons I come to his gigs is because he makes me feel good. Why? Because he makes a person feel special, he makes a person feel significant, and most importantly, he cherishes you almost as much as you cherish him within the course of any performance he's ever done. I've said it 100 times before. He is a stand-up guy when it comes to his when it comes to his relationship, when it comes to his friends, stand-up father, stand-up friend, stand-up musician. He is one of the finest men in Milwaukee that I know, not because he plays music well, but because he's just that damn good of a guy. If you ask me tomorrow the reasons why I go to see him play, it's because he's talented on a keyboard, but he's even more talented in touching other people's lives, even if it's just for an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. I couldn't possibly adore you any more than I do. I probably will never tell you that to your face because it's much easier to tease you, but I guarantee you that I am probably one of your biggest fans and probably feeling one of the luckiest people in the world to be your friend. So thanks for coming on a second time. It only took I don't even know how many years, but I'm glad we got it done. And I'm glad you're my friend. And this is so cool, isn't it? And I got you a gig and your kid called. This is cool, isn't it? This is cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the kind words.
Oh, no.
I appreciate it done for me. Appreciate your support, all that. Thank you.
Thank you. You're quite welcome. And you guys start at 8:30 tonight, right? So I'll just roll in whenever I get my work done. And I'll send you these links in a couple hours because you'll still be around. So thank you so much. And thanks to Sam. I know you can't hear me, Sam, but I'll talk to you in a while, and I'll pass on the word. And you can talk to me later about the gig and all that jazz and stuff like that. But just thanks for coming on, and please get me that music. Please, 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 because I have to be in New York in 2 weeks. Thank you.
I will get them to you. Thank you so much for having me.
Now, get off my show. I got work to do. Love you. I'll see you soon.
talk to you soon. Yep. Bye.
Bye. He's fabulous, right? I just had to say all that nice stuff. It's really tough for me because if I stay on the phone with him too long, he'll actually start thinking that I like him. But we all know I do. I know. He's like a fan favorite. I know. I'm kind of with all the musicians in town, he's one of the top 5. But I'm not going to tell him that. It'll go to his head. Anyways, my big thanks to Marcell to coming on the show today. Again, Sam, I really appreciate you taking a bit out of your schedule to come onto the show, if just for a little tiny bit. I know it meant a great deal to your dad as well as to me, of course. Thanks so much to Heather and all the other friends for listening in and spreading the word. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Didn't want to forget to mention this because we kind of skimmed through the whole Rhythm Kings thing, but huge shout out to Jim and to Lon and to Phil, and oh my God, I'm such a bad friend, but I cannot remember the name of the guitar player. Thanks so much for entertaining us and giving us such great music to dance to and listen to and to have fun to. Every time the Rhythm Kings plays, I can't even tell you how much I enjoy myself. Good friends, good company, great music. So again, one more time as a reminder, if you guys are out and about tonight, he's at the Havana Cigar Bar and Lounge from 8:30 to 11:30. On the 13th, he's at Brass Tap in Greenfield from 8 till 12. On the 21st, he's at Johnny Manhattan's. This is how you can tell I've been talking too long, in Hubertus from 7 to 10. And, of course, he mentioned himself the 28th at Moe's, which prevents him from coming to my festival. And, yes, I'm kind of pouting about that. Rhythm King side of things, November 3rd, Saloon on Calhoun from 8:30 to 12:30. Obviously, he mentioned Elkhart Lake for Mother's Day weekend in the 2018 season, where hopefully, God willing, we'll be able to get some more great original music. And Generation Z, along with Marcell, on January 6, 2018 at Saloon on Calhoun. I'm so grateful that he had a chance to mention that to us. So, again, one more time, let me read off all the ways to find him. He is on YouTube, Reverb Nation, gigmasters.com, MilwaukeeRocks.com. Twitter handle is at The Rhythm Kings, and Marcell Guyton .ROCKS is the place to find his entire schedule, along with some of his media and, of course, his pictures, because he loves to post those pictures up. It cracks me up. Plus, gigmasters.com. And then if you're on Facebook, he has a personal page. The nice part about his personal page is he always makes sure to put the schedule up right where his pictures should be. And the other pictures, of course, him and Sam. So sweet. Anyways, on the top, it's got his entire schedule, so you can friend him. And again, it's spelled Guyton. See what I mean? And this is without any kind of wine or any kind of inducement, folks. Anyways, that's his personal page. The band page is the Rhythm Kings Milwaukee. And, of course, just Marcell, meaning the name Marcell as far as that goes, and that lists all of his events as well. So please go ahead and make it a point to check him out over the next few weeks. Like I said, I am going to try to convince him to do the New York City gig, and that would be coming up probably in November, my guess is. And that's called the Doghouse Craft and Kitchen, which is located inside the 4 Points Sheraton Hotel in New York City. So definitely, we'll keep working on that. So wanted to remind everybody, tomorrow, of course, is Friday, 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, with going to be my interview with Judy Lee. She's one of the founding members as well as board members of the Village Playhouse. And to check out their event coming up on the 15th, again, that's villageplayhouse.org. So on that note, folks, I'm going to go back to writing my film festival Q&A. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about my own festival. Do not want to forget to remind everybody about that one. In case you haven't heard already, after the 57 times I've posted it, Art is Alive Film Festival.yolasite.com. Otherwise, look on Facebook, Art is Alive Film Festival. It's located in New York City. That's going to be going on from October 26th to the 29th. Live music every night, 25 different films being shown, one celebrity event, as well as a closing night ceremony. So excited. So proud of my filmmakers. I cannot even describe it. So please go ahead and get your tickets. My anticipated goal is 1,500 seats filled over the course of 4 days. I know that's a lot. So I got to get cracking. You guys have a great night. Thanks so much to everybody who listened in today. And always, I appreciate you more than I know. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.